And there seems to be creeping confidence in the sweep, perhaps maybe for taking the money value.
And yeah, it makes sense. So you have 1.6 thousand channel points going towards yes, there will be a sweep, and 5,000 channel points saying no, there will not be a sweep. Here we go with game number one. They both have their Razor Shield. Prince Leaf doing his classic top door strats. Brisulph keeping control of the middle. And the room is going to be over there, and it is going to be, yes, Brisulph is going to have the whole shot, not by much though, less than a second. It's a high 40 versus a mid-high 41, so yeah, about 3/4 a second.
Good luck. You'll need it.
It is definitely close as we go here into collect power-ups, and what a power-up for Brisulph, rockets, but also rockets for Prince Leaf.
And this is what you want to see in a matchup like this, where, Brisulph is definitely the clear favorite. You want to see equal opportunity drops. Prince Leaf ignoring the Razor Shield. What do you think about that play there, Burgundy?
Well, I mean, it was a bit out of the way, but not necessarily unreachable. But I think Leaf just wants to focus on containing the middle and doesn't want to delve too far away from the middle. But you can see that it's cost just a good amount of time here, and it's already going to be a few seconds back.
Yeah, he's 7 seconds and an orb behind Brisulph right now, going into Eat My Shrapnel. So this is, and Prince Leaf gets clubbed down. And this is what I had mentioned before at the start of the race here, Burgundy. These are the kind of mistakes that Prince Leaf cannot be making against Brisulph.
Maybe there was a bit of personal second guessing about that Razor Shield. It's hard to say, but the drops have not been doing Leaf any favors either, as we had an invulnerability followed by a foot, followed by another invulnerability, and grenades. So the weapons had been abysmal thus far.
I know it's only game number one, Burgundy, but already the RNG is favoring the favorites, or disfavoring the not favorites, the underdogs.
RNG underwhelming the underdog.
There you go. Perfect. That's exactly. I love the alliteration there. Perfect. That's a Burgundy phrase. I can't take the credit. That is yours all the way, my man.
There we go. You had the favoring the favorites. I have underwhelming the underdogs. Makes us a great team.
And look at this. Rockets, Razor Shield for Brisulph. Yeah. This poor Prince Leaf. I mean, he gets a spreader, which is a decent drop, but when you don't have the orb, he's going to be 20, 30 seconds back at Brisulph if he doesn't find that orb. Speaking of Brisulph, 2:55 into the bonus room.
You can see when we're at this level, all it takes is one mistake to make a glaring difference here. And whether you want to say it was that Razor Shield in collect power-ups, I mean, that's neither here nor there, but getting clubbed down the beginning of Eat My Shrapnel, you can see it's already 20-plus seconds difference.
23 seconds, but if it's any consolation, Prince Leaf does have half a rocket clip, which he can use to take down the gunners on the wall. Brisulph picking up a spreader as his opening drop, followed up by an invulnerability, doesn't have to worry about the mines or the ammunition that these tanks are going to fire on. Another invulnerability, again, not have to worry about the tanks. Weapons pretty typical for Brisulph in this room. I mean, this is just a typical tank trouble. Feet, vulnerability, more feet, dudes, etc. Meanwhile, Prince Leaf getting a foot also. He needs to see some better drops than this if he wants a shot at coming back. Spreader in the middle for Brisulph here. So right now, Brisulph obviously is going to have the lead. Though rockets for Prince Leaf, he'll be able to ride that. Brisulph going to be looking for a 90-second Mutoid Man fight if he wants the tournament world record. Let's see if he can get it.
4:10 into the Mutoid Man room, and we're just seeing how the time goes here for Leaf, and gets clubbed down again.
Oh man, this has not been a great go here, as Brisulph does get the ball buster.
That's 42% of a form of damage, so we'll be seeing that arm popping off any second, and there it goes.
Oh, yeah. So now what Brisulph's looking for is spreaders to do that 9 times amount of damage. Instead, it's an invulnerability. Would be nice if he had a spreader in his hand to use that invulnerability. Now Brisulph looking for the spreader, taking the intentional mine here, but instead it's grenades. Meanwhile, Prince Leaf Needs to find a way to have the RNG go on his side. If he can get a couple of spreaders here, he certainly would have a chance, because right now the weapons have dried on Brisulph's side.
Leaf picking up the invulnerability just to get another one.
Now Mutoid Man showing its true colors to Prince Leaf. Here's Brisulph going with the old school strats. Lobbers all day, Bergs.
Yep, and some lobbers for Prince Leaf, but the head already popped off here for Brisulph. Prince Leaf just getting the first arm off.
Yeah, he needs a spreader and an invulnerability. He needs them both in that order. Instead, it's more lobbers here. So, barring a complete disaster, Brisulph's going to win this one as he gets to the final form. There's the spreader for Prince Leaf, but it just might be too late.
Leaf doing a good job of manualing.
But it is going to be too late indeed, as Brisulph will take down Mutoid Man, and game number 1 of this match. Now Prince Leaf getting the spreaders when he absolutely doesn't want to see him, because they do the least amount of damage to Mutoid Man in the final form. So Brisulph taking a 6-10, a casual 6-10 as it were. More importantly, it's game number 1 for the top-ranked seed of the tournament. Prince Leaf trying to finish it off, and I'll tell you what, he did pick up some time on Brisulph.
There's one more shrapnel there, Leaf. Leaf, there's one more shrapnel. Oh, and,
yep, never mind. Yeah, never mind. I think he ended up losing time because of that shrapnel. I mean, he kept the pace up with Brisulph and Mutoid Man. They were pretty much even fights, 637 versus 610. But yeah, the early RNG that Brisulph got, and then Prince Leaf getting a little bit tilted at the beginning, you know, with the second guessing of the Razor Shield, getting clubbed down. But more importantly, though, he didn't get an orb until late. I mean, did he even get an orb? Did he even get an orb in that entire match?
I don't think he did. I think that was an orbless run.
Yeah, orbless. He just confirmed. That was an orbless 637, which that's one of the best. Yeah.
You know, doing with what you've got, we talk about it all the time. I mean, that if the game doesn't give it to you, well, the game turns out that it ends up giving it to you in another sense.
Yep, so I mean, a 637 without an orb, that's a pretty respectable time there for Leaf. So, I mean, if he gets better RNG early on, that could have been a nail-biter. But nevertheless, game 1's in the past. We got game 2 coming up. I'll ask to see if they're ready. Yeah, 2-minute Mutoid Man fight is one that Brisulph's going to say, you know, I didn't really get the drops that I needed, but again, it was enough to keep that lead over Prince. Let's see if Prince can recover, maybe get the RNG flowing his way in game number 2.
You can only hope. If the skill level for these two is certainly top notch, but you don't like seeing things being lopsided like they were. I mean, the game giving Brisulph an orb and telling Leaf, what orb?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, Prince Leaf, I don't know if that is a tournament record, the 637 with no orb. I think it's a little short. I want to say that Turbulent Eddie, when he won the championship in our very first tournament, had a faster time. Who knows? There might have been faster times even before that. But in any event, game number 2 underway.
Leaf going with the top door strats and steps on the mine, the nuke rather, and that is going to give him the whole shot.
Indeed, so it is Prince Leaf with the early lead, has a low 39, Brisulph with a high 40, about a 1.5 second lead. So Prince Leaf off to a good start here, but now needs to see some drops where Brisulph needs to see Garbaggio. And speaking of Garbaggio, it's Garbaggio for Prince Leaf, Razor Shield for Brisulph, but nothing to compliment it as Prince Leaf trying to fish for that orb.
And gets another foot. And another grenade.
Man, these weapons have been hot garbage for Prince Leaf, but doing the best he can with what the game's been given to him. But, you know, Brisulph, as I was about to say, other than that Razor Shield, he's not really been given much. But now these rockets could close the room for him, and it does. 122, and Prince Leaf keeps getting grenades. Now he gets a spreader, but yeah, I'm telling you, Burgundy, RNG favored the favorites, or RNG underwhelming the underdogs. Prince Leaf has done nothing wrong, but he's 10 seconds back.
Yeah, 10 seconds back because in collect power-ups, Prince Leaf had 5 grenade drops. 5.
That is just gross. That is just disgusting. That is a disgusting act on the part of the game here. We want to see a competitive match, not blowout. So now, if it's anything, though, Brisulph does not have an orb yet. So, I mean, if Prince Leaf can get an orb, you don't say Brisulph doesn't. Look at this, Brisulph at 207, but he is still without an orb as Prince Leaf picks up rockets, but he gets an orb!
Well, there we go.
And he's actually gained time. It's down to 8 seconds. So here's an opportunity, Burgundy, for Prince Leaf to punch into that lead of Brisulph, maybe even take the lead if Brisulph doesn't continue to get good weapon drops. Grenades are not going to cut it. Rockets now for Prince Leaf. His key right now is that he has to make sure he keeps control of the middle, doesn't drop the orb. If he can do that, he may have a lead coming out of this room.
We've got the nuke here just to give a little breathing room. It's not going to be the end of the room just yet, but this should be the last group of them. A late Razor Shield. Just going to use it to mow down some of the enemies here. We've got a spreader as well.
Probably would have been a late Razor Shield for Brisulph as well. Probably wanted to see that Razor Shield a little bit earlier, but Brisulph did what he could with what the game gave him. It's a 3-12, but he is only 3 seconds ahead as it is time for Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell. So yeah, Prince Leaf able to shave 5 seconds with the power of that orb. Brisulph, being the skilled runner that he is, the #1 seed in the tournament, was able to still keep the lead despite not having an orb. So he's been orbless so far in this game. First drop, a nuke. That should help take down the first gunner.
Rockets, meanwhile, for Leaf, followed by a nuke.
Oh,
He's probably going to leave the nuke alone, though.
Yeah, that one's in a bad spot. Now rockets for Brisulph. He'd like to try and chain rockets if he possibly can. Instead, it's a foot. It's Prince Leaf who's chaining the rockets right now here in tank trouble. And more!
Another set of rockets.
More Vitamin R for Prince Leaf. I think if he keeps this up, we're going to definitely have a lead change going into Mutoid Man here. These have just been some hot drops here for Prince Leaf, trying to finish off the room here. Rockets down for Brisulph, and indeed, we do have a lead change. Not by much.
About a second, if that. 423 to 424.
Exactly 1 second is the lead, but Brisulph still no orb. I mean, he could get a PB, a new PB with no orb here, and he starts with a spreader. Now, what is he going to do with it is the question. He's going to go for it. He knows the strat.
Oh, and he hits the mine.
Ooh. I didn't see if Prince Leaf got the ball buster or not. I think we were too fixated on the mine that Brisulph ran into there. But right now, these weapons have been garbage for both. And right now, it's an ever so slight lead for Prince Leaf. So that lead that Leaf had, it's still that way. But now, oh, there's a spreader. Oh, and he cannot die for it. Oh, order of operations.
Well, I did look at the review, and yes, Leaf did get the ball buster.
So that's how he was able to keep the lead, but this is very close between the two. Prince Leaf trying to get manuals. He's done a good job with the manuals here.
What a manual.
Very good manual there. But now Prince Leaf a chance to do some manuals. This is so close here. And Leaf has the lead as Brisulph gets run over and will not get to the lobbers. So right now, Prince Leaf, a key for Brisulph! And more lobbers now for Prince Leaf. So Brisulph needs to see a spreader here, or Prince Leaf is going to equalize. Prince Leaf at the final form here. Lobbers should do it. If not, the rockets will. It's a better ranged weapon. Gonna grab the rockets. There's a spreader for Brisulph, but it's too late. And Prince Leaf came to play, ladies and gentlemen. He takes game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we're even Steven, one apiece. So just like in game number 1 where Prince Leaf didn't have an orb all match, it's Brisulph who doesn't have an orb at all in game number 2. Absolutely crazy stuff there. So if you said no on the sweep, you're getting paid.
Yeah, about 6-5 odds, but still not too bad.
Not too shabby. So Prince Leaf taking game number 2, equalizes the match at 1, and we're now essentially at a best of 5. And with the RNG, I mean, Brisulph had bad RNG in the second half of game number 1, bad RNG throughout game number 2. The RNG, the switch doesn't flip on soon for Brisulph. Who knows what might happen here? I mean, I'm not to call shots or anything like that, but all of a sudden, this has gotten interesting, Bergs. And yes, Prince Leaf making a comment in our Discord here that he impressed himself with that manual. And yeah, that was the key right there, Burgundy. That manual that Prince Leaf did with what all the spreaders he was given, did really good work with them, didn't get run over, utilized it as much as he possibly could. And that right there was the key to that victory right there.
Yeah, that probably caused at least a half to 3/4 of a form of extra damage. And that was the, dare I say, the TSN turning point of that game.
Well, you said it, I didn't. In any event, I've got them ready to go for game number 3. I've counted them down, so we should be underway very shortly. Here we go. Uh-oh, but Prince Leaf late on the timer, so we're just going to have to rely on Bry's timer here.
Okay, so they started at the same time, but the timer was...
Right, we did sync them up, but and that could come into play if we have to do some timings here. So, in any event, here we go with game number 3 between Brisulph and Prince Leaf. They both do have their Razor Shield, so whatever the times are, it's about a 3-second difference. So, it looks like Prince Leaf's got the lead. He really does not, though. He's got about a 41, whereas Brisulph has the high 39. Let's call it a 2.5 lead for Brisulph.
Yeah, and Leaf just realized his times were askew, because, wait a minute, that's definitely not a gold split.
And that's probably it. So again, if this ends up being a close one, we will have to go to the booth. So whatever Brisulph's time is at 3 seconds to Leaf, give or take. Razor Shield rockets for Prince Leaf, but there's the orb for Brisulph, but there's the orb for Prince Leaf. You gotta love seeing it, the equal opportunity drops. 119 versus a 126 as the shrapnel exploded on Prince Leaf's side, so he ended up losing some time there.
Thought for a minute that the reception had exploded as well. Looked a little grainy, kind of going from one room to the other.
Didn't it though? I was gonna say that was one powerful Mr. Shrapnel there. That's exactly what happened on Prince Leaf's screen. That had some extra juice to that gunpowder. .202 is the time for Brisulph. Grenades on the feet for Prince Leaf. 2:08, 6-second race.
Just using up the grenades, going back to the pea shooter, and loses the orb.
No! Again, early mistake here in Total Carnage, and then gets clubbed down! Again, this is what Prince Leaf cannot be doing in these kind of games against Brisulph. You can't be making mistakes like that. So Prince Leaf's going to have to hope that the RNG, he does get a replacement orb, but nevertheless, he's still going to be double digits back easily. But Brisulph loses the orb!
Now you can see he's chasing for it. He's picking up every drop, and he's not going to get one heading into tank trouble.
Yeah, that could come into play. I mean, knowing Brisulph's skills, he certainly is able to play without the orb, but this could give Brisulph a chance. 2:57 was the time for Brisulph. Brisulph is going to be at about a 3:17. So he's about 20 seconds back. He does have the orb, so maybe Brisulph can chip away at this lead if he can keep that orb.
The grenades not exactly helping, but Bry just going right on in with them.
Yeah, rather than using the spread, he wanted to use the grenades to take down the gunners on the wall. Now he's getting rockets, so he's at least getting good drops to help him keep this route aflowing. Now he gets a razor shield, so if you're not going to get an orb, the weapons are flowing. Brisulph not getting anything to start off tank trouble, so that's not going to help his cause. So he's going to have to do some dancing, staying in the corner here, try to keep that orb healthy. Brisulph, the end of the razor shield. Now the weapons have started to dry up, as tank trouble typically does. Brisulph having to do a lot of dancing, drops the orb. So Brisulph is going to be first with a 4:14. Tournament world record is still possible. Both gunners now down for Brisulph, but that lead is going to grow for Brisulph. Rocket's a good opening drop in this room. He'll be able to take down the gunners up front. Now he's looking for those spreaders.
Leaf, meanwhile, taking another clubbing, and I've had it happen to me quite a bit. You lose the orb, you lose your life, then you lose your mind.
He is 32 seconds back, and Brisulph now has a spreader. He's going to look for an invulnerability. Now he doesn't want to get run over by that lobber there. He's going to try to get the manuals in. Getting a lot of damage in.
Wow.
And that's a glitch toy. If Brisulph gets one more spreader here, it's going to be a tournament record. It's a lobber.
Lobber train.
And he'll take that lobber. It's consistent damage, and it's going to get him the win. But if he sees a spreader right here, it's going to be a tournament record. But instead, it's grenades. Lobbers now for Brisulph. Final form for Brisulph, so no record, but he's going to put up probably, if he keeps getting dropped. This is classic final form Mutoid Man here. So I was going to say he could still get a 5-4X, but that probably just went off the board. He still got it. Still got a 5-4X, and that is the 10th 5-4X of the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Another one chalked up for Brisulph. He takes game number 2 with a 549.
And Leaf, with a little bit of indecision there, saw the spreader and was about to run into the mine and then opted against it.
Yeah, kind of a percentage play there, and Brisulph's going to wave the white flag on this one.
It's probably for the best. I mean, I think maybe it was the late start of the timer, but he was thrown off right at the start, and I don't think that he necessarily was able to recover. And once the done came in, he just said, all right, let's just put this game behind us and move on to game 4 and see if things can go a little bit better.
Both players have had some problems early on. Leaf 1 and 3, Brisulph game 2. Let's see if we can get a close one here for game number 4.
Yeah. Good luck.
Both runners working on their manipulation. Pretty much, if you hit the start button right as the demo goes through, right as they say go, and then you change it from normal back to easy, do your thing, and then go to one player. That starts you with a razor shield at the very beginning. It's the only manipulation you can really do.
Certainly there. So I've got both runners ready to go here. Game number 4 should be underway soon between Brisulph and Brisulph. Brisulph trying to take a commanding but not insurmountable 3-1 lead. We saw what happened earlier between Aquas and Upla. If you haven't seen that match, I invite you to look back at it. It was a thriller.
And a Quickie prediction, another no orb this race?
Could happen. A no orb for at least one of these players? You never know. So if any one of these players goes the entire distance no orb, that's when the yeses are going to be correct. Looking at this, it is going to be Brisulph with the hole shot by about a second. Some good times, though, as Brisulph gets mid 39 to a low 40. It's less than a second. I'll call it 3/4 a second.
Good luck. You'll need it.
Whoopla pointing out in chat that Brisulph had it on normal difficulty, and if that's the case, it means his clip is not going to last as long. That could come into play there, Bergs.
That is correct. I just took a look at the replay, and Bry did start on normal difficulty on accident.
I mean, not saying that Brisulph couldn't get a hot time on normal, but the difference between easy and normal is that the clip doesn't last as long as it does on easy. That is going to come into play. And
I don't think it was on purpose,
No,
as chat
no.
noting here. No,
I don't think so either.
only somebody like Jack would do
It
that.
happened again to Prince Leaf. He runs into the green shirt and takes a death again. So again, that's 3 games now, Burgundy. Prince Leaf has made critical mistakes there. But he does get an orb. Will he be able to get to it? Yes.
Leaf trying to settle back in now. Has the orb and is just working on the shrapnel. And
Oh, wow. Didn't really lose time. He's less than half a second back, but he has to keep this orb. He's in trouble. Oh, he got away with it there, Bergs.
Well, no orb this game.
Yep, so if you said no orb, you're getting paid. Rockets for Prince Leaf. Brisulph with a nuke to reset the room. Now a spreader to follow it up for Prince Leaf. And now a razor shield on the feet, so the weapons have favored Prince Leaf. You know what? That definitely was a manipulation. But not to be outdone, Brisulph getting one.
The Prince Leaf manipulations or alleged manipulations are a thing of lore in the Smash TV community.
Brisulph was able to pick up the Prince Leaf mine rockets, and he's going to get a sub-3, take the lead 259 to 301. But at 2 seconds, this is anybody's game, as it's time for Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
I just ate before this, and now you're making me hungry.
I know, right? But more importantly, Burgundy, Brisulph has 2/3 of a rocket clip left, so he'll be able to take down the gunners. Prince Leaf needs something to help him out to keep on track, but he gets grenades. About the worst drop.
Yeah, the last thing you want is close-range weapons in a room where there are so many things that are swarming you. You want to try to get everything at a distance and just keep everything away from you, dodge the bullets. You don't need to be dodging foot soldiers and bullets and tanks and shrapnel. It's just too much to ask.
Rockets on the feet there for Prince Leaf after taking down the rest of the room with what little he was given. Brisulph had some early rockets, but now the weapons have started to dry on his side. No matter, those early rockets are enough as Prince Leaf drops the orb. 409. Brisulph looking for a 91-second fight. Oh no, and Prince Leaf, what happened there? Was that a mine or shrapnel?
I think it was shrapnel.
Well, he's 15 seconds back. Certainly not out of it, but and Brisulph does not get the ball buster.
No, I stand corrected. It was the mine.
He did. So Leaf, it wasn't his signature mine, but he ran into a mine nonetheless. So right now, Brisulph has the lead by about a form. So this is anybody's game up to this point as Brisulph missed the refill. Leaf sees the spreader. He'll be able to get to it. So here's a chance. Another spreader for Prince Leaf. And he gets runner. He will not get to this one. He does.
Oh, that one's too late.
Too far to get to. And He could have gotten that, then the invulnerability, and he could have done a lot of damage. Hindsight is 2020. So right now, Prince Leaf riding the Rockets. Brisulph, though, getting some empty drops, waiting for something. It's a lobber, and it is Leaf who takes the lead. It's close, though. Missing shots, though.
Now, again, Bryce... Oh, no.
Here comes the spreader that's going to give Brisulph the win, in my opinion. Here's a spreader for Prince Leaf. He's going to have to manual. Another spreader for Brisulph as if he needed it. Final form. The transfer damage is going to determine whether or not Brisulph is going to finish this off. I don't think he didn't get really much transfer damage. Final form for Prince Leaf as Brisulph gets run over with shrapnel. This is going to be so close. Will Prince Leaf steal this one? He does!
He does.
Unbelievable! The shrapnel on Brisulph takes it away from him, and Prince Leaf has equalized again. 6-16 for Prince Leaf, and Brisulph, that was the thing, did not get any transfer damage on that spreader to the final form. If he gets any kind of transfer damage, he's up 3-1. But instead, folks, we got at least 6. I'm loving this.
Well, in fairness, I mean, Bry had a 635 on normal percent. He accidentally selected normal percent and still finished within 19 seconds of Leaf, despite having shorter clips.
Yeah, absolutely. That really wasn't the factor. It's just that Brisulph did not get any transfer damage in on the final form with all those spreaders there. If he gets transfer damage, he wins easily. But that was the problem, just no transfer damage.
And maybe with a longer clip on easy, maybe he gets that transfer damage, though. That's the...
Well...
I don't know how much of a difference it is. I don't know that type of minutia. And maybe I'm just being devil's advocate for the sake of being devil's advocate. I'm pulling a Sean O'Hare here, but it's hard to say. It was certainly well fought by Prince Leaf, and I think if it was closer, you could definitely make a case for it. Does Brian know that he was on normal?
He does. He does know that he played on normal, so yep. That mistake may have cost him. CHX42 pointing out that if he was on easy, he would have gotten the damage. And if anybody's going to know that, it's going to be the number 2 seed in the tournament in CHX42, which the winner of this match will have the pleasure of facing off against CHX42 in the winner's final. So, my word, what a match we've got going. It's going to go at least 6. Holy Toledo. So now I'm going to check to see if both runners are ready. Brisulph's ready. Let's see if Leaf is. He's ready. I'm going to count him down.
Yeah. Good luck.
Meanwhile, it looks like we have another channel point prediction on hand. Who will clear Carnage first?
So in other words, who is going to finish off the total Carnage room first? First one into the bonus room. That's a good channel prediction. It could be either one. Here we go. Game number 5. A pivotal game number 5 for both of these runners, because whoever wins this is going to have 2 shots at taking the match, move on to the winner's finals. Brisulph keeping control of the middle, Prince Leaf with the top door strats, but it is going to be very close. 1 second lead for Brisulph. He'll have the whole shot with a 38.5, 39.5 for Leaf. Great times on both.
Good luck.
Certainly something that you like to see. Anything sub 40 is ideal, and then once you get into those 39s, 38s, even 37s, that's just really high-level play and a good amount of luck as well.
And we've seen a couple of 37s already in the tournament. It's very hard to do, but they do show up sometimes in play like this. Not great drops for either player, but there's the first orb of the match. But there's the second orb of the match right behind.
I think Leaf had utilized the orb to take out that shrapnel.
In sync. Going in to eat my shrapnel. Prince Leaf, though, cannot lose the orb early like he's been a lot so far in this room, and he doesn't.
Well, if there's any month that we're going to see runners in sync, it's going to be May.
You got that one right there, Burgundy. So, Razor Shield for Prince Leaf. Brisulph getting an invulnerability. He's looking for better weapons. He'd like to see a rocket to close the room and then take some with him to total carnage. Right now, Prince Leaf just has Mr. Shrapnels to take care of. Same with Brisulph. Come down to who gets that better weapon. Foot for Prince Leaf. Brisulph will ignore it. Brisulph, 206. Prince Leaf, they're in sync still, pretty much.
Yeah, a high 206 to a low 206. Maybe a half second.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is still even, and the drops have been even. Spreaders, now rockets for Prince Leaf, and this is where maybe Prince Leaf takes a little bit of a lead, as it's an invulnerability for Brisulph. Prince Leaf needs to keep the middle, keep the orb, and now rockets for Brisulph. So again, equal opportunity drops, and now a Razor Shield for Brisulph. But a Razor Shield for Leaf. So again, the drops have stayed consistent. Watch out for that shrapnel. Prince Leaf could have gone through that Razor Shield. It did not. We've seen that happen a few times in the tournament. You hate to see it, but it does happen. Brisulph, 257 is first by a second. So the prediction is Brisulph by a second. 257, 258 for Leaf, as it's time to not drop the chalupa and have some Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell.
What a race thus far. What a series thus far. What a day thus far.
Absolutely here. I mean, Brisulph and Prince Leaf a second apart. The weapon's going to be key here. Opening drop is grenades. Brisulph does not like see it, but Prince Leaf gets the granddaddy. He gets rockets. Not in the greatest of spots, but nevertheless, both gunners down. Now a nuke. Give him a breather. Get control of that middle.
And a pair of dudes for Prince Leaf, otherwise known as one-ups.
Yeah, he's he decided to ignore that one-up. I was just about to say he was one life away from the Gorlock luck. I guess he didn't want
that. Of 9?
Yeah, he didn't want that. See, another dude shows up, like the game knew. Wanted to have 9 lives, and Prince Leaf's like, no, bump the means. But Brisulph doing a better job with the 409. Prince Leaf having to take down the shrapnel still. That's a 414. 5 seconds. Sub 6 is in play for both. Tournament world record is in play for both.
Of course, a foot to start off with, but there's a spreader, and Leaf's going to take the death.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to forego the ball buster. He wants the spreader damage. Brisulph does not get it.
More.
Now Prince Leaf gonna have to abandon the rest of that spreader as the invulnerability runs dry, and he gets run over, but that's not the worst thing in the world because he's gonna upgrade to lobbers. Though Brisulph gets a spreader, he'll have to go manual.
Oh, and Leaf gets zapped trying to avoid the gunners.
And won't be able to get to that lobber. This could be an opening here for Brisulph, but a lobber on the feet for Leaf, that'll take down both gunners. We're pretty even. As the rib cage is now open for Leaf, Brisulph shouldn't be that far behind. Well, here's a spreader.
Spreader for Bry.
Lobber for Leaf. He'll be able to get to it, but advantage Brisulph now. He might take the lead on this one, and he gets sabotaged.
Oh, wow. There's the head
Brisulph
popping off for Leaf.
and there's a spreader. If he can get to this, he may wrap this up, but he's blocked. Does he get it? He does.
That's it.
Unbelievable stuff here. Leaf with a chance to go up 3-2. He does
Gets
get
run
run over.
A little bit of transfer damage. We got the empty drop of the foot.
Brisulph as a spreader. He's got to go for final form. Oh, this is going to be so close here. Advantage Leaf. Depends on the transfer damage that Brisulph got. Oh, my goodness gracious. A photo finish could be possible here. It's Leaf.
Leaf gets it.
And he barely gets it. Unbelievable! Leaf wins 609. Brisulph 612. About 2.5 seconds difference. And I can't believe I'm seeing this, Burgundy. Brisulph is a loss away from going down into the second chance bracket.
Yeah, a lot of people, I will not shamefully say, myself included, underestimating Prince Leaf here.
I mean, he's had some rough goes. You know, game 1 and game 3, he was not playing his best. I mean, granted, the RNG didn't do him any favors either, but both of them right up there, neck and neck. The RNG just ever so slightly better for Prince Leaf in that one, ever so slightly. So now Brisulph going to have to win 2 in a row, or else he is going to be going to the second chance bracket. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Those players waiting in the second chance bracket will not like it if Brisulph ends up losing this one. I can assure you that.
I mean, just looking at the possibilities, if Brisulph were to fall, you'd have Brisulph against Oopla. If Bry were to go on from there, it would be Brisulph against the winner of 40 Watt Range and Mr. Dino.
This is insane. This is why we play the games, folks. On paper, it looked like Brisulph was probably going to win it, relatively easily, but Prince Leaf has made us a fool, all of us fools here, and if he wins just one more game, he'll do the unthinkable and take down Brisulph, sending him to the bottom half of the bracket, and he would be in the winners finals. I'm going to get them both ready. You know, we just got done with the match of the tournament between Oopla and Brisulph. This one might give it a run for its money.
We got ourselves a contender here.
I think if Brisulph wins and we go to Game 7, and depending on how Game 7 unfolds, this is going to be tough. Going to be tough. We'll find out what happens, though, as Game number 6 is underway. They both have their Razor Shields, both with the same strats that they've been employing the entire match. Here we go. Brisulph gonna have the whole shot by more than a second here. Another solid Arena 1 with a mid 39 to about a high 40, low 41. I'll call it a 1.5 second lead for Brisulph. I know what you guys are thinking. 1.5 seconds, that ain't much. That last race we just got done calling was 2.5 seconds difference.
So when you get to this level, every little bit counts.
Yeah, no doubt about it here. And right now the drops are dry on both sides. We have a nuke for Brisulph, a foot for Leaf, now an orb for Leaf. And it is indeed going to be Prince Leaf, a 125, Brisulph 128, and still fishing for an orb. Leaf getting a little dangerous to those green shirts again here in Eat My Shrapnel, but does keep the orb healthy. Meanwhile, Brisulph, he gets an orb. He needed to see that.
Leaf has been playing dangerously, and knowing the caliber of player that he is, maybe it's that whole risk-reward factor.
Yeah, he knows who he's up against in terms of Brisulph, so yeah, you gotta play a little bit risky to have a shot. I totally get that, but as I mentioned, he's got to just play his race. I mean, yes, he's had some reckless decisions that have burned him in this match, but so far, he has been in the zone, he's held his own, and he remains 3 seconds ahead. But Brisulph with the orb, rockets, more rockets now for Leaf. Brisulph with a spreader, some decent drops, but he's looking for better drops than that. He'd love to see a rocket. He'd love to see a Razor Shield. Drops are drying, though, on Leaf's side. He's done a good job keeping control of the middle. Here's another spreader.
Save those spreaders for Mutoid Man, will you, Game?
I know, right? And then he gets an invulnerability afterwards. Hey, Game, order of operations, huh? There's a rocket for Prince Leaf. They might have a chance to close the room with these rockets. Watch out. Oh, that purple shirt got dangerously close there. That could have been catastrophe. But it is going to be Brisulph. We have a new leader at 3:05, but Prince Leaf at a 3:07. He's about 3 seconds back, a little less than 3 seconds back. You know what it's time for.
Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell?
I think you're right about that. Don't drop the chalupa. Get yourself a churro and a nice cold beverage because we got ourselves another dogfight. And both of these players have a little bit of weapon left in their clips. Let's take a look here. Brisulph had spreaders. I think that's what Prince Leaf has as well. Yes, and he gets a razor shield. Great opening drop, but rockets for Brisulph. Oh, he loses the orb. That could be a tough one to come back from if he doesn't start getting weapons. We'll exchange for a spreader. Prince Leaf, hold in the middle, has that razor shield. A little bit of spreader left on Brisulph, but he needs to start seeing a weapon. Instead, he sees it. Dude! More rockets now for Leaf. He's going to have the lead.
Bry with nukes, and now getting some rockets. Might be a little too late.
Yeah, even though the shrapnel will blow those up, Prince Leaf is going to have the lead. There's an orb, 421, but Brisulph is only less than 4 seconds back with about a 425. So an opportunity for Ballbuster for both, but Prince Leaf does have the lead, and he's going to do it again. He's going to go for the spreader, forget the Ballbuster.
Oh, and great positioning for it.
All right, and Prince Leaf now going to change it up for lobbers. Did Brisulph get the Ballbuster?
He did.
He needed that because Prince Leaf is off to a great start in this fight.
Lobbers, and more lobbers for Brisulph.
Nothing wrong with the old school strats. Consistent damage. If you're not going to get spreaders, give lobbers. There's a key for Leaf, but an invulnerability for Brisulph. But again, with the lobbers in hand, not going to really hurt him that much. Here's a spreader, but it's going to have to be manual for Brisulph. And he gets run over immediately. So not able to take advantage of that spreader. And if that's the only spreader, and then an invulnerability, Brisulph's in trouble as Leaf takes the lead. Now grenades for Brisulph. Empty drop, though, for Leaf, so maybe a chance for Brisulph to even things up. But now a spreader, and again, it's going to have to be manual for Brisulph. There's the vulnerability! The chance for Brisulph to stay in this match! Final form! Final form for Prince Leaf. It's all about, he got the transfer.
I got the transfer damage, and we are going to a Game 7.
That invulnerability saved Brisulph. If that invulnerability is not there, he loses. 603 and another losing 6-0 Xbergs, 608. That invulnerability was the difference because Brisulph, that enabled him to get the transfer damage on Mutoy Man. If that invulnerability doesn't show up at that particular instant, he loses the match.
My goodness. So this is the second race where the difference has been within 5 seconds. Or the second game in this match, rather. I don't know how much more that I'm glad this is the last one in a sense, because I don't know how much more of this I can take.
I'm kind of disappointed this is the last one because this has been a hell of a series of matches here today.
Yes.
We've had 2 matches. They've both gone the distance. And Brisulph barely escaping with his life in game number 6. To me, it's anybody's guess on who's going to win this match here. I mean, we all thought it was going to be Brisulph rather handily, and it still might be Brisulph. But if it is Brisulph, he will have earned this one, Burgundy.
Yeah, this certainly has been close all the way through. My goodness.
Brisulph announcing that he needs a minute, and I certainly can't fault him. I think we can take a little bit of a cool down here ourselves as we look forward to what's coming up next in the tournament. So again, the winner of this match, this particular game right here, game number 7, between Brisulph and Prince Leaf, the winner moves on to take on the number 2 seed CHX42 in the winners finals. The loser will not be eliminated. They go down to the losers quarterfinals where they will take on Oopla. Holy Toledo.
Yeah, there are no gimmies at this stage of the tournament as we are down to the final 6.
Mr. Dino's making a very bold prediction. He thinks that we're going to see a sub-6 lose in this one. I don't know about this. You know, how many sub-6s have we seen in this match so far? I don't think we've seen any, have we? No, Brisulph had the one.
Bry did have the one.
That's the only one we've had. I don't
We
know.
had a couple of 6-0Xs, obviously, in the last race.
Yeah, we've had now 2 losing 6-0Xs today. We might get a third losing 6-0X. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But a sub-6, I'm going to say no.
So, prediction for the winners final, it is dead even. 7 people voting for Bry, 7 voting for Prince Leaf in the prediction. So,
who do you think's going to win?
I think that Bry pulls this out here. I'm sticking with my guns. It wasn't Bry in 5, but either way, shame on me for not picking it going the distance because, well, both of these for going the distance because they have certainly done that. We've gotten the maximum 14 games, and wow, yeah, they're running it here tonight. Exactly. There's no lumbering going on tonight, except maybe for my mouth here in the commentator's booth.
I just have this hunch, and I hope I'm wrong about this. I think Brisulph wins in a landslide. I just think it's one of those situations. Momentum is a fickle mistress, and I think Brisulph's going to ride that momentum. He's going to get, like, great RNG, and Prince Leaf won't. I hope I'm wrong. I want this to be a close game, but my gut tells me Brisulph wins by at least 30 seconds.
Your gut's been more right than I, so I will. I'll just sit back and see what happens.
However, look at this. It's Prince Leaf with the whole shot with a very impressive mid-37. Brisulph with a mid-39, so he's 2 seconds back. So a great start for Prince Leaf, but the RNG could dictate what happens. Starts with the Razor Shield. That's pretty good. Let's see what Brisulph ends up getting. Spreader, not bad. And then another spreader. So now the RNG is indeed. This is kind of what I alluded to here, Burgundy. This is what's happening so far.
Favoring the favorites and underwhelming the underdog. But as we say that, here's an orb for Prince Leaf. But already, what was that? 77 seconds into.
Yes, a very spicy 77-second. Prince Leaf with a 125. He needs to keep the orb healthy. If he doesn't, he's going to be in trouble. Does keep it healthy. Good.
At 77, fire possibly Diablo.
Yeah, anything that's under 80, you're doing really, really well. I mean, we've had a 75, we've had a 74. CHX had a 74. I think that was the second game where I said he had a 75. I actually looked back at the VOD. He actually had a 74.9 something. Got sub 75.
Okay, that is Diablo. I stand corrected.
Sub 2 for Brisulph into Total Carnage. That's pretty Diablo too. When you're going sub 2 into that room, you're doing some pretty good things, but you've also been dealt some good RNG. 208 for Prince Leaf. He's about 8 seconds back. So the deficit remains the same. Spreader now for Leaf.
That was a little dangerous spreader there by the door for Leaf.
Yes, that was. I mean, Rocket's on the feet now. Some good weapon quality now for Prince Leaf. But there's a Razor Shield on the feet for Bry.
Rocket's a little long way to go for it, but does get them.
Yep. So now the weapons starting to turn the tide for Brisulph as the weapons dry up for Leaf. A nuke for Brisulph. That ends the room. 250.
Wow.
Dynamite.
What a time. Great use of the nuke. There was just one enemy to take out. And just like that, with that little bit of timing, as you can see, Bry has built himself about a 17-second lead.
Yeah, almost 18 seconds. As it's no time for Taco Bell. We got to get serious here. Brisulph could be onto something special here, Burgundy. Here we go. Nuke, decent opening drop.
Trying to clear out that gunner, but Those foot soldiers just keep coming, and they don't stop coming.
No, they certainly don't. And Brisulph still doesn't have the second gunner down. Meanwhile, Leaf getting about the worst drop. I mean, now, yeah, the RNG underwhelming the underdogs now really starting to come into play, showing its true colors on Prince Leaf. But I'll tell you what, though, Brisulph, typical RNG for this room. He's got no drops at all, but he's done a great job with what he's been working with. Feet, invulnerability, dudes, about the norm. Now he gets some closing rockets here, at least. Rockets for Leaf, but he loses the orb. 4:06 for Brisulph. He'll be looking for 94 seconds. Orb replacement for Leaf, so at least he'll keep things honest. More rockets for Leaf. Could close the room for him. But they don't. Not enough. Taking down the true shrapnels. He's going to be 21 seconds back. Out of the realm of possibility, but he's behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Yeah. Bry, meanwhile, did get the ball buster.
He's got lobbers. There's a spreader. Going to ignore it. It's too far away. He's going to have to go for manuals. He's looking for an invulnerability. He gets one!
Wow!
Here's a chance for Brisulph to do some serious damage with the rest of that spreader. It is now empty, and he gets more spreaders. If he gets another invulnerability, he gets tournament record! It could be falling! It could be falling! Final form! The tournament record could be falling! He needs one more weapon drop, I think. He needs one more weapon drop. This is going to do it. The lobbers. This is going to be a tournament record if he can finish off Mutoid Man. And here it comes. He got it. New tournament record for Brisulph. And Brisulph takes it with a 5:31, a 10-second cut of Deller's 5:41. It's a new tournament world record. Unbelievable.
And Brisulph with the important message there. You tell him I'm coming and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me, and it certainly has.
Unbelievable. And I mentioned this at the start, and I wanted to be wrong about this being close, but if I'm going to be wrong, I might as well be, if I'm going to be right, I might as well be super right and have Brisulph get a new tournament world record. I mean, Prince Leaf's PB is 5:32. There was nothing Leaf could do about game number 7 there. It was just that, and it goes back to that invulnerability after the spreader. If that doesn't happen, we don't even talk about tournament world record for Brisulph. My word.
Not even close. It's yeah, it just, you got the right drops at the right time, and now Brisulph moves on. You've got Brisulph and CHX, and Prince Leaf and Oopla.
And I'll tell you what, Oopla has to be breathing a sigh of relief a little bit after Brisulph surviving the scare. Prince Leaf pushed him as far as he could be pushed, but the number 1 seed, Brisulph, will be facing the number 2 seed, CHX 42, in the winners finals. And the winner of that guarantees themselves $66 and an SNES controller, and would only have to win one best of 7 match to take home the whole shebang.